Okay, what about now? Is it working? Working? Yes? Okay, yay. Hi! Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Real Chat today. Hey. All right, so you guys over here, if you would like to come join us on our Twitch stream, we're going to be talking about current events. You were safe from anti-imperialist EU man. Hi, first time chat, Evil Milk Hotel. Welcome. Hi, Greg. Today's Weapons Wednesday as well. We're going to talk about weapons. I think we'll also talk about maybe that blast map again. That was pretty fun. The nuke map was cool. It was pretty good. Yeah, so come join us over there if you guys want to learn about what's going on in the world, current events. What's happening? I don't know if you noticed out there, a lot's happening. A lot's always happening. But now, too. Now, also, a lot is happening. Yeah. Yeah, nuke map, I think, is the plan for today. I really think so. Yeah. So, come on over. How often do I wash my hair? Not enough. Two every 3 days, usually. Just every 2 or 3 days. But my hair gets greasy really fast, so I powder it a lot. This has happened since I was a little kid. I remember being a little kid, and at recess, the teachers would ask me if I took a shower somewhere or got wet outside. People were frequently like, "Are you wet? Did you get wet somehow?" Because my hair would just go so greasy throughout the day when I was a little kid. It's a fine hair thing. Yeah, I don't know. So my hair gets super, so I powder it a lot. So usually every 2 to 3 days is when I wash. Yeah. Yo, your union's going on strike in 3 days? Oh my god, your evil redneck. Share, do you have any strike relief kind of links or anything that you can share for us? That we can talk about? I can make a video for you too on my TikTok if you want. Yeah, we can talk about the trip to Cuba. We have a Q&A, so we can do that in the Q&A. Yeah, I can make a video for you. Hold that thought really fast. Let me wrap up with Burger Reich, and then let's talk about your union stuff, and I'll request the info from you, and then I'll make a video today for you, and then we'll get into the Q&A also. How many people do we have in Real Chat? Is Bifflo in here? 141. We can do better. Okay, so, oh my god, he's still going. Now he loves South Korea, of course. Most predictable man ever. He loves Ukraine, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, Argentina. Do you love Argentina? No, because the guy in Argentina is too nice to Donald Trump. And he doesn't love Donald Trump because he's a liberal. Right? I just forget about it because I close it, so I don't see it. But yeah, it's only 10 minutes, and then I just... Is it annoying? Yeah, I know. Burger Reich is funny, right? I know, Bifflo doesn't even love Pol Pot. That's the thing. Bifflo's like, I think he was 70% wrong, 30% right. And I understand where that comes from, because there is a lot of stuff when people talk about Pol Pot where I understand why the Pol Pot people do want to ride for him. I get the instinct. I get it. Because, like, look, we don't talk about the United States fucking destroying Cambodia, which the United States did. We don't talk about some of the things that are marketed as Pol Pot being Looney Tunes actually did kind of make sense given what the United States was trying to do to Pol Pot. But a lot of stuff he did was Looney Tunes, you know? So I get the instincts from these people. They're not crazy. They're just incorrect. Which, you know, whatever. It is what it is. Yeah. So Bifflo's opinion, Pol Pot was 70% wrong, 30% right. I understand. That's actually not an irrational position necessarily. I like Bifflo. We often say Pol Pot is what no theory does to somebody, or a poor understanding of theory does to somebody. Pol Pot was a revolutionary, and he did help fight off a really bad Western-backed dictator in Cambodia. However, his ideas about what should happen after that revolution were lacking in their theoretical basis. And which is what happened. It wasn't good. And then the Vietnamese communists had to step in and be like, yeah, it's enough out of you, buddy. And they think it's good they did. Oh my god, Ash, yay, Ash. Kind of, no, not as, Tito just did market socialism. You know, not great. But, you know, not like, And I think Tito did have the ideological framework. I think Tito was backed into a corner because of the Tito-Stalin split. I don't think that Pol Pot had the strong ideological framework. I think he accidentally reinvented anarcho-primitivism. Kind of. Not fully, but kind of. Kind of. Tito was dead before Deng. Kind of. Kind of. China didn't do the IMF loan thing. I would argue that China doesn't think they're doing socialism right now. China is like, we are doing textbook Marxist-Leninism, and that involves state capitalism because we were a semi-feudal economy, and that means that if we want to focus on eradicating poverty, we need to build up capitalism as the foundation, and that's what we're going to do. And we have to try to mitigate the impact of the rising bourgeoisie that will accompany state capitalism. And like, so that's China's approach. Whereas Yugoslavia, they were forced into market socialism and IMF loans under different conditions. You know, everybody has different conditions. You know what I mean? Yeah. Is Vietnam taking IMF loans? They might be. I'm not sure. We'll see. Yeah. IMF loan bummer. Okay. Okay, Burger Reich, are you saying goodbye to Burger Reich McCrae? Even if communism comes, I will still do small business. Laughy face. Oh, you're not even 45. Oh, Oxus, thank you. Yay. Thank you. So nice. Okay, how many people do we have in real chat now? Are we up to 200? Are we up to the 200 starting off point? Are people in here now? 188. Oh, we can do better. What is, I need to get hotter. How do I get hotter in 30 seconds? Where's that looks maxing guy with the hammer? What's I know the issue. This space is too long. I'll never be able to look max. Oh, Lena Besque. Thank you. Yay, gifted subs. Yay. Hi. Do you want to learn about Marxism? Hello, men. I gotta shave my armpits to really pull this off. They're not gonna be into it unless I start shaving my armpits. Is this mewing? Is this it? I don't fully. You swallow your tongue, right? Is that what you do? Oh. Less pucker. I think too much of an overbite for it. Overbite's too insane. Swallow your tongue. That's what I'm trying to do, Virgo. But then I just look like very intense. 200. It worked. 200. We're there. Okay. I'm going to hang up with you guys now. Okay. Come join us over on Twitch. Bye. We did it. Hi, everybody. Thank you. Echoes being dialecticals. 177 Cercino. Maybe you blocked all the people who love mewing. Oh, it's there's a Virgo imposter? We have a Virgo imposter? Yeah, I'm in a Tanky Max. We're ready for it. Hi everybody. How is everyone today? How's everybody doing? Did we have a good night last night, everybody? Larry, hi. Larry, sometimes I pop in and watch your stream while I'm making my lunch. Yeah, you weren't done trolling the Burgoids. You were doing a good job, Bigatko. You were holding it down. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna start wearing lingerie. I did order a corset from TikTok Shop for free. We'll see if they approve it. They'll really take us places. It will really take us places. Oh, that's exciting. I hope you find out information that is useful to you about your ADHD testing. Comrade Ash stayed up late arguing with the liberals. I love that you do this because you know the twisted part of me wants to do it. And I'm like, I don't need to. Ash has it handled. Not a nutritional yeast corset yet. I'll figure it out. Oh, well, everybody, I had a great night. I hung out with my partner. We went to dinner. I had a spiked horchata. That's where they put the rum in the horchata, and it was vegan, and it was really fucking good. Can we read about this bomb and then use it to test the nuke map? Yes, I'm saving that for Weapons Wednesday. Let's do it. So we're about to start Q&A, though. Virgo, hold on to the link for a sec, because I might lose it again, and I can't copy paste it right now for some reason. Rum chata, yes. Okay, we got a first time chat from Mug22M. Hold on to that for a second, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to open up the Q&A once I have a timer on, and then everybody's going to ask, and I'm going to read as many in order from top down as I can until the timer goes off, or answer as many. That's what we're going to do. So get your questions ready, everybody. We're going to start off with a Q&A. Horchata. Pluto VVV. If you have a video you'd like to share with us all for us to watch, there's a time to do that as well when we've got a poll going, so hold off on that. So for those of you who are new, I'm going to explain the structure of our stream. Welcome. We're happy to have you here. We call it Double Down. We double down on the news. This is a left-wing analysis of the news, of what's going on in the world today. I am a Marxist-Leninist, so you'll get a Marxist-Leninist perspective from me. And the way our stream is structured is as follows. In the first 10 minutes, we do a Q&A. I'll set the timer on the clock. After that, there will be a period where usually most days you get to submit a news article for us to all read together. The way we do that is we do a countdown, and then the first 5 people to submit an article get considered, and then we run a poll. And in the poll, you get to vote on which one we talk about for the day. While the poll is playing, you can submit videos for us to watch as entertainment while people vote. And then once the vote is complete, we will get into analyzing current events, the one that won, and we will talk about any historical context that might be missing from the story or might be necessary for us to better understand the story. Then with the final 30 minutes of the stream, I usually stream until 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we will take a look at a map that we are currently making, where we are mapping out the different camps of the world, who's allied with each other currently, who's fighting with each other, who's in a state of flux, and we will do a deep dive on one country. Now, because it is Wednesday, we also, after the Q&A, have an additional feature, which is Weapons Wednesday, where we learn about one weapon that is relevant in the news to help us better understand geopolitics and what's going on. And if that all sounds super, super serious and intense, I promise it's not that intense. Ooh, we got a hype train. Choo-choo. It's kind of fun. And everybody in the chat tends to be very, very smart as well. And then at the end, we will do an obligatory raid of Larry's channel until Ash starts streaming, and then we will break it up. We will start dividing the rating. Touché gang, locked in. Yes. Okay, so with that out of the way, I'm going to set the 10-minute timer for Q&A. Get your questions ready. The timer's on. It starts now. All right. Question. How does communism prevent the free rider problem and incentivize people to work hard, innovate, and maintain high-quality production without the motivation of personal financial gain? But I would argue that personal financial gain is actually not a strong motivator. And that's something we see as evidenced by the space race. Think about the space race in the USSR versus the United States. Out of every potential category that could be won, the United States only won one first man on the moon. The USSR won literally every other component of the space race, right? Look at the DPRK, for example. The DPRK, they have great work ethic. They have amazing development that they've been able to pull off in a relatively short amount of time. They don't really have this problem. They are actually building rather rapidly, given the fact that they are cut off from the entirety of the world. Look at Cuba. Here in the United States, being a doctor is a very high-paid position, right? In Cuba, it's not a particularly high-paid position. They don't have rich people in Cuba. Nobody's rich. So, in Cuba, the reason why they have so many doctors is because people care about each other and they want to be doctors. And Cuba actually has the highest amount of doctors per capita out of every country in the world. So we see that the incentive to care about your community, to care about other people, to want to make your own place you live better, right? That's actually a better motivator than money is. Okay. Menshevik's son or Trot daughter, how fucking dare you? How fucking dare you ask me that? Where's Kobashi? Obsis is banned. Can we be mutuals on TikTok? Yes, probably, but at the end of the stream, we'll have to remember so I can get your TikTok username. Please explain Pol Pot more deeply. My history teacher uses him as an example of how communism doesn't work. So there's a Grover Furr article that you can read about this. There's actually linked if you go to tanky.org. In my link tree, if you go to entry level left wing politics reading list, scroll down towards the bottom. There's a link to where you can learn more about Pol Pot from a Marxist perspective. It's something written by Grover Furr, who is a professor of history. I believe history. He might not be a history professor. He might be a different professor. He's a professor at Montclair University. What organization should we go to if we want to go to Cuba, and how do we do that? I think that Code Pink brings the most people. I think Code Pink's going to be your easiest bet to go with an org, so I would try to reach out to Code Pink and see. What do you think of sortition in place of voting? I gotta refresh myself on the details of sortition really fast so I can give you a better answer on this. Hold on. I don't want to just be talking out of my ass if I get something wrong on this one. This is why it's nice being able to look things up. Public officials, jurors at random by lottery. Yeah, this is what I kind of thought it was. But assemblies, they work in an assembly motive. I'm pulling this up right now. For everybody else in the chat who might be curious. I don't like this. I don't think random people should get to decide things for everybody. But I'm trying to load it, and it's like not loading, which is weird. Is my internet going to be a pain in the ass today? Okay, so we've got a little article here. We've got, I have to refresh this. Video capture. It's not working. Why? Oh, you know what I have to do? God, this is so annoying. Hold on. I do not like this new setup. I do not like it at all. Okay, there we go. All right, cut back down. All right. So sortition, selection mechanism design, a decision-making process aimed to respect principles of transparency and egalitarianism, choosing people for different roles, particularly political ones, used to be used in ancient Greece. Sortition has taken on something of a revival, both theoretically and occasionally in practice. The sortition method. 500 members randomly chosen from 10 tribes representing the entire territory of Athens. Yeah, so this is kind of the opposite of what I believe is a Marxist-Leninist. I believe that there should be a highly trained and specific vanguard party who is kind of in charge of shaping the political direction of an area. So this is the opposite of what I think. I don't think randos without political training should get to make decisions for the rest of everybody. I don't love that. I believe in democracy, but I believe in a Marxist-Leninist model of democracy. What do I think about drug decriminalization? I think drug decriminalization is good if you are also creating the infrastructure necessary to support it as a healthcare issue. So in socialism, we would have drug decriminalization because drug addiction issues would be treated as healthcare issues. That would be something like, oh, you have this, we can do this. However, drugs that were being used, like drugs that were harmful to people or harmful to societies or drug trafficking or things like that, we wouldn't have decriminalization. We actually see that China, for example, has pretty strict drug laws. Why? China has a history of being overrun by drug traffickers from other countries, right? And that becomes sometimes drug trafficking can be used as a tool of like imperialism, a tool of capitalism, and that kind of stuff is really, really bad. So I think the biggest thing about when we think about drug decriminalization, I think that there are certain structural things that come along with it, right? Certain institutions that are bad, that are undesirable, that we don't want in society. But I think for individuals struggling with addiction issues, that's a healthcare issue and should be treated as such. So you kind of have two ends of it. You have drug dealers, right? You have like Mexico dealing with like drug cartels that are backed by the United States, supported by the United States. You had China previously having to deal with opium issues that were backed by Europe, right? That's more of like a structural, that's almost like related to a means of production issue, because this is just something capitalists can make money off of, profit off of. But then also you have the individual, the user side. So I think decriminalization is a good idea if you can build the necessary infrastructure to support it. When we look at places like Portland, Oregon, for example, where I actually did an interview when I was in Portland with a German documentary, so there's probably footage of that somewhere, talking about the decriminalization in Portland and how I think it's been a catastrophe. It's been a nightmare. They decriminalized drug use, but they did nothing to support the people who are struggling with addiction. You go and you're like, this, liberals are like, this is normal, this is fine, and you're like, this is not fucking normal and fine. This is not a healthy, functioning society. These people have been abandoned and left to struggle with addiction on the street, left to basically die. And the people who are doing things there to try to support them tend to be like anarchists doing mutual aid, and those are the people showing up to help them. Why? Because the city is not able to provide the infrastructure necessary to actually support these people alongside decriminalization. So does that make sense? I hope I was clear about that. I don't really know if I hit that right. Night shower, morning shower, night shower. I like a night shower. Trump's visit to China. I don't have much info about that yet. How much financial gain have you had when working hard at capitalism? A pizza party, exactly. You want to start doing TikTok. What advice should we give you, Melmay? Just consistency is important. I try to post 7 videos a day. Just post 7 videos a day. And lighting is very, very important. If you have a window, put your phone on a window ledge facing in at you. The lighting will be nice. So post every day and find good lighting. And that's the most important thing. How do you dispel anti-communist beliefs from people in Poland? Poland is one of the few places that actually did not like communism. And I actually made this yesterday on my lunch break, and I shared it in the Discord. Somebody caught an error I made, so I thank you for that. Yeah, but I think it's good now, unless anybody caught anything else. So this is a work in progress. I just threw it together on my lunch break yesterday. But this is basically all of these sources and all of the countries that were formerly communist and what happened to them. Poland is one of just a few where only 35% of Poland has a favorable view of communism and 47% have an unfavorable view. So I would say Poland is the exception, not the rule, right? Out of 28 countries included here, only 8 said that they do not miss communism. 20 do. And I think that that's important to point out. So whenever somebody's like, my family hated communism, I always ask, where? Where is your family from? And sometimes they'll say Poland. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. You guys are one of the few people that didn't fuck with it. You know? Sorry, most people did. You guys didn't. I don't know what to tell you. You're the outlier, not the norm. And a better economic system, you could focus on making stuff more and less on surviving. Exactly, probably. I think that's true. People get to pursue things that they're actually interested in more. Oh, you have some things to say about the Trump-China trip that you noticed were comical. Larry. Okay, good. So everybody go look at Larry after this. Propagandy. Yes, I used to love Propagandy. I used to love Propagandy in the early 2000s. Yes. You miss Cuba content? I know. I miss Cuba. And where else are we? Oh my god, I'm just now getting to banning Kubashi. Or Kubashi banning Obsis. Okay. Oh, is Ray on here? Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna follow Ray. Yes. Yay. Thank you for that. Okay. Hi, Info Thumb Wars. I'm so far up, you guys. I'm still scrolling. Communizing thing that ultras keep talking about? I don't know. It's so fucking weird. They're so obsessed with communizing. Yeah. I was just talking to some of these fucking people about communizing. Communizing is literally like anarchism. It's like it's so ridiculous. So, I don't know why they're all on this kick right now. I do not know why they are all on this kick. So, look. This is a leftcom idea. Oh. End of timer. I'm just going to say it's a leftcom idea. And they basically think that like the revolution will happen. Here, look. I've got it pulled up on the wiki I was going to share with you guys. I was going to share with you this just as the brief overview because we were running out of time. So the self-abolition of the proletariat is the main idea they're talking about here. So instead of the working class affirming its identity to seize power, it must abolish itself as a class as part of the destruction of the capital-labor relations. It's, basically this is the idea. It's some anarchist shit. It's some leftcom anarchist shit. Leftcoms don't want to call themselves anarchists. They're anarchists with extra steps. It's some leftcom anarchism shit. So it came from the French ultra-left in the 1960s. And it's a council communist derivative. You guys know I use council communism ideologies to help form my worker collective, and it is really useful for worker collectives. That's the extent of it. Worker collective under capitalism, you can take some interesting things from it. That's not going to save you, though. That's not... A worker collective is not a revolution. A worker collective is not the DOTP, right? I have the same opinions about worker collectives that Marx did. I always have to clarify, yes, I started a worker collective. No, I don't think that's the revolution. So, So they reject the transitional period, basically. So the leftcoms are onto this. I wouldn't even say they're ultras. I'd say they're leftcoms. It's goofballs. It's goofball anarchist bullshit. It's anarchist BS, basically. And then their whole thing is they call things programmatism, right? And they say that, it's the definition of the affirmation of the working class as the agent of revolution. And they say the proletariat's power grows within capitalism through the development of its organizations. The revolution is conceived of as a culmination of the buildup of power, where the working class would seize the means of production and make itself the new ruling class. I mean, it's just anarchist BS. They won't call themselves anarchists though, but it's anarchist BS. It's fucking weird. I don't know. They're all obsessed with it right now. I've been arguing with so many fucking left comms about communization lately. Okay, all right. I'm scrolling all the way down. I am now at our current chat. I'm sorry for everybody I missed. Did I miss anything interesting in the in-between? Hi, I'm here with you now. I was up there. I was in the past. I was living in the past for a while. Pro-gun. I'm pro-gun. I do not think you should take weapons away from the proletariat. I think we need an armed proletariat. Bigako says I missed that we're banning Kubashi and giving them mod access instead. Is that true? I scrolled past the Civil War? Okay, good. You're new to the stream. You saw our content on Reddit, YouTube. Hello, welcome, Captain Comic. Hi. What? Okay. So I think we've been successful. All right. So now that the Q&A is done, yes, you're going to hear the left comms talking more about communization. It's just stupid. The shit they come up with is just stupid. Obsis, were you the one that made the meme in the Discord that I was dying about? That's like, leftists discovering an obscure, ultra-specific form of Marxism and how it's like CCF psyop shit? People post me on Reddit. I don't know. They say all sorts of shit about me on Reddit. There's the contingency who thinks I'm a millionaire landlord sent to destroy the United States by the North Korean government. And then there's the contingency of left comms who hate me. Wow, there's anarchists and left comms hate me. And then there's Marxist-Leninists on Reddit as well. Obsis is our minister of meme production. I loved that meme. I was dying at that fucking meme. I saved it. I saved that meme to my desktop, I think. Or let me see if I saved it in my downloads. Because I was fucking like, this is my life right now. This is my life. And somebody said, does it seem like there's more left comms than usual? Yes. There's so many more left comms than usual. I don't know why they're multiplying. I don't know how this is happening. But this meme... Yeah. That one. Oh no. Where'd it go? Hold on. Yeah. So this one. Is this the Western Marxist academic industrial complex? Weirdly specific Marxist discipline. It's like this. And this is the thing about the left comms. They think they're Marxist, which is absolutely wild. I was dying at this though. Obs meme. Yeah, I'm a millionaire sent by the USSR time travel machine to psyop left comms. The true and spontaneous revolutionary leaders. Yeah, exactly. You'll get dank memes like this from our community in the Discord. I did not make this meme. Obs made this meme. So please join our Discord. It's great. I've popped in a few times. It's awesome. I shared the chart that I'm making, the chart that I'm working on over there. I think it's okay. I think it's good now. If anybody else wants to proofread this for me, that would be really useful. I dropped the link in the thing too if anyone wants to see if there's any other issues with it before we start sharing it widely. Here. This one. I hit the wrong thing. This one. It's in there. Go check it out in the Discord. See if I made any other mistakes. Who's Spontax? I've heard people talk about Spontax before, but who is Spontax? It's YouTube, right? A YouTuber? Is it a YouTuber? Maybe China will kidnap him. Oh my god, that would be so funny if China Maduro'd Trump. He's an ultra. He's a TikToker. He's a communization guy. Okay, I think we need some real clarification on the ultra versus left comm thing. Because communization theory to me is not ultra. That's left comm. That's like anarcho BS. That's like kumbaya, what if we all just got along BS. He sent videos about before. Oh my god. What is his whole... I gotta look him up. I'm gonna look him up. Everybody stare at the top of my head while I look up this guy. He's on TikTok and does he call himself an ultra or does he call himself a left comm? Is this why there's more... Is he making more left comms? Is this why? I'll unblock him. I had him blocked. So how is he making videos about me? He's creeping on me. It's not letting me unblock him. Oh, he's 57,000 followers? He's making more left comms. Oh, yeah. He's like, yeah, he's lurking. He is in here lurking. He's the one creating this. No communism been tried? Wow, this is what's going on in here. This is crazy. Why are people listening to this man? Spontax, since you're lurking, what's going on with you, man? How are you this old and you're still a left comm? That's my question. How are you this old? Why are you calling yourself a communist but you hate communism? Yeah, we got a compatible left lurker. This you? Is this you, bro? Lurking on our streams? What's up with you? How are you this fucking old? And why are you making anti-communist content calling yourself a communist? Queer liberation. I make videos for communists. Like hell you do. What a fucking dumbass. I will never understand this. Just say you're not a communist at that point. Just why pretend? He dropped a 20-minute video on Mocha? What a psycho. How does he have 50,000 followers? Oh my god. He's crazy. Just be honest. Be honest. He hates Burkina Faso. He's insane. Oh my god. His beard smells like balls. Oh, that's the coolest thing about him. That's the coolest thing about him. He's gay. He says queer liberation. Oh my god. Where's this guy from? He's got Eastern European vibes. Mocha. Oh, this is the guy. Mocha responded with a screenshot of the timestamp and said, "You know what? You win." Oh my god. You search my name on Twitch and found the Snark subreddit. It's all posts by the same user. Oh yeah. Yeah, they're like on Reddit. Yeah, they're like obsessed. They're weirdos. This is crazy. Oh my god. He's coming for all the faves. He's got Ome in here. Anarchist slander. He's an anarchist. This is what I'm telling you. These people aren't communists. They're anarchists. Anybody who calls himself a left comm, they're doing anarchism with extra steps. This guy's kook balls. What a fucking freak. What a fucking freak. I'm sorry. Is he British? I didn't listen to him. I couldn't do that. This is my thing. And this is what I really think. This is really what I think. And this should have been with the teenage anarchist I defended once on the internet. Never again. This should have been the call. Anybody who makes their content going after regular people who do not have political power rather than just making a video talking about their own ideas, I think that's weird. I think that's weirdo shit to do. Like, why are you doing this? What's your goal in this? What's your intention? It's wrecker shit. You know what I mean? It's like if you have your own compelling arguments you want to share about communism, about Marxism, fucking go for it, man. But when your whole page is you stitching other people to be like, no, fuck you. It's like, what's going on in your brain, dude? And especially other Marxists. Other Marxists. You call yourself a communist. You call yourself a Marxist. This is what you're doing, right? Like, and here's an example. Our favorite anarchist here in our chat, Ted Kaczynski's girlfriend. Ted Kaczynski's girlfriend and I, we messaged each other yesterday, and we were like, yeah, we know we have different politics, but, like, real. I fuck with her heavy. She's great. She's backing the whole Marxist-Leninist vote socialist slate in California. She's writing for us. She's backing us, because she's like, it's just stupid not to support this. This is how I feel, right? If anarchists, if left comms had any sort of successful revolutionary movement building, I would support them. I would back them in a heartbeat, right? Because that to me is still more desirable than capitalism. Because we might not have exactly the same things in agreement, but like we can build coalition together. We can work to defeat greater enemies. Ted Kaczynski's girlfriend is whatever. So, you know, I just feel like he wasn't an anarchist back then. That's true. He said he was a Marxist. To jump back, sorry. I just feel like it's so bizarre. And somebody said you could tell he's never been in an org. And this is exactly the shit. These people aren't organized. These left comms, they're not organized. Anarchists who organize, you actually will find that very often you can work with them on many things. Not all of them, but most of them you can, right? Because they know that in organizing, you end up working with people that you don't have exactly the same politics as. And that's what happens when you organize. Like I've said this before, you'll be standing next to some labor union dude, right, for a strike thing that you're working on, and you and him do not have any of the same politics. He has no class consciousness. He just knows he likes his union because he gets paid more. And like, that's where people are at, and you'll work with them to accomplish common goals. So anybody who's out here doing this intentionally wrecker shit against individuals, like if you're making a video about fucking Ome wasn't talking about you. You know, talk about Marxist-Leninists all you want. Talk your shit about how you think your stupid communization theory bullshit, spontaneous anarchy, blah, 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 whatever is the better idea. I don't fucking agree with you, right? But when you start making videos about individual people, do you know what that tells me? Oh, we can never organize together. We can't work together to accomplish anything, any common goals. It's just you, and congrats on your 50,000 left comms around the world that you've managed to make. It's just you guys. You're on your own because you've shown that you're incapable of working with other people. You know, it's very, very weird. I don't understand it. And yeah, that's one thing about me. I won't talk about other people until they bring my name up first, and then I'll defend myself, and that's it. I just don't understand the utility of that. I didn't even talk shit on the ACP until they brought me up. You know, why are you doing this? And that's when you look at people who move like that, and you're like, this is a weird way to move through the world. Any political point I want to make, I do not need to bring up an individual person without political power to do it. I can make it on my own. And these people can't say the same. They can't say the same, right? And that's why, so I have this one conversation just to get more on this. Why are there so many fucking left comms coming out of the woodwork now? And this is, I'm gonna say this before we get into today. And I really do believe this to be true. So this is what I believe to be true. And I don't mean this to be mean, but a lot of teenagers and young people become anarchists and become left comms. That's fine. As a teenager, you're finding yourself. You're figuring out who you are. So you, what? I'm sorry. Hawes said coming out to your partner as trans is rape. If you need another reason to hate the ACP. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, these fucking people. So like as a teenager, you're figuring out who you are. And you're also figuring out politics in the world. And you're looking around the world today and you're like, the world is fucked. The world is fucked up. Everything is a trash can on fire, right? The world is fucked up. So if the world is super, super fucked up and you're trying to figure out who you are and you're trying to figure out how to fix the world, politics becomes a big part of that. But what happens is you can easily start using politics as a way to build your personal identity. Who am I and who am I not? And your political allegiances, if you fall down a certain rabbit hole of left-wing political theory on the internet, especially, of left-wing political discussions on the internet, you can start to use your political designation as a way of identifying yourself, right? Like, this is me. I am this. And sometimes what that means is you are positioning your political ideology socially. You're positioning it against other people with different political ideologies rather than looking at the actual political arguments or the actual political structure of what you believe in. Sometimes you want to be different, right? And I was guilty of this when I was younger. I never wanted to be a Marxist-Leninist. Why? Because I thought Marxist-Leninists were annoying and smug. Well, look at me now. Annoying, smug Marxist-Leninist, right? But I didn't want to be that. And that wasn't an argument about Marxist-Leninism. That was an argument about the kind of person I wanted to be. Who I wanted to be. And I was choosing a political ideology based on my opposition and resistance to the types of people I saw as Marxist-Leninists. I wanted to be a left comm because it meant I didn't have to be a Marxist-Leninist, right? Reactionary politics is opposed to well-read and actually know what you're talking about exactly. And a lot of teenagers do this. And look, as teenagers, they're figuring themselves out. That's what they're supposed to do. When those left comms added me to a group chat and they're all teenagers, I was like, look, you guys are annoying as hell. I'm not going to lie to you. You're fucking annoying. But you're supposed to be annoying. You're teenagers. You're supposed to annoy me. I'm an adult and I'm supposed to be annoyed by you. That is exactly how it's supposed to go. So a lot of young people fall into this because it feels like a way to still be a politically aware Marxist because it would take a fucking dingbat to not realize capitalism is a failing system. right? So they get to call it like it is. Capitalism is a failing system, but they still get to maintain an individual sense of identity that's unique and different and in opposition to the mainstream left-wing political ideology, which is Marxist-Leninism. When you look around the world at left-wing governments, most of them are Marxist-Leninist. That is the dominant left-wing political ideology. It is Marxist-Leninism. And you don't want to be that because you want to be different. So that's why you end up going into all these weird pits of left-com, ultra-specific, Hojaist, like whatever, these very, very specific designations of your ideology. And I think it's just a cultural phenomenon, like that thing that's like the world is making new 14-year-olds every single day, right? And that's why when I looked at this man, I was like, you're an adult man. How are you still doing this? That was super, super cuckoo to me. So today we haven't gone to the theme yet. We're ranting about why there's so many more left comms. So that guy, I guess, is why you're seeing more left comms being made every single day. Right. It's fascinating. I do think the more you read, though, all roads bring you to Marxist-Leninism. You just get there. But yeah, so I'm still ranting. Sorry, I'm ranting about the left comms. I've got this kid. So this is what I was going to show you. I have this kid right now in my debates. Hold on. Okay, so look. I'm talking to this kid in my debate. I'm going to cover his username so you guys don't see it. Okay? So this guy wants to talk to me about Gotha program. And this is what I'm talking about. When people form their arguments not based on ideology, but on who their identity is. So this guy is telling me the Lassalle thing. All the left comms are obsessed with Lassalle. I'm assuming Spontex has made a video about Lassalle recently. This is my guess, because that guy has a lot of followers, and all of them started talking about Lassalle out of nowhere. All right, so this is how it goes. And I can tell this based on my audience size. I know when a video trends with a group because people start asking me the same question. So like everybody's asking me a question now about the USSR committing genocide against Christians. I'm like, who made a video? Who made a video? So Lassalle is a German social democrat that the critique of the Gotha program is critiquing Lassalle's program for social democracy in Germany. And left comms will tell you this. Read Critique of the Gotha program. And they usually will say this because they are trying to claim that Marx thought that the state should immediately disappear after a revolution or something. And they always are like, read Critique of the Gotha program. I know because I used to be left comms, so I used to tell people to do this. But you cannot understand Critique of the Gotha program if you do not understand Lassalle, because it is a critique of Lassalle. And Lassalle is a German social democrat whose whole thing was that he thought you could reform the state and that the power would come from worker collectives. He thought worker collectives would be the revolution. So anytime you guys have seen me talk about starting a worker collective, you'll see I'm always like, but I know it's not the revolution. There's a reason. It's because that is a Lassalle idea. And for years, you've seen me on TikTok being like, worker collectives are nice under capitalism. They are not the revolution. They are not. Because that is what Lassalle was arguing for. Lassalle also had a bunch of weird shit that Marx was clowning on him for, rightfully so, about like labor being the source of all wealth and all this shit, whatever. This kid is like, Lassalle, you're like Lassalle. This is what they all do, all these left comms. And I responded and I said, explain Lassalle's theory and Marx's critique of it. Because they don't actually know what the Gotha program is. And so he's got this thing here that kind of feels ChatGPT-ish, right? His basis for his theory was the fetishization and legitimization of already existing class relations such as labor, and his claim labor is the source of all wealth and culture. That is true. Marx did clown on him for that. Lassalle, like every other social democrat, believed the reforming of the superstructure could make legitimate change and could soften class relations and already existing institutions. As Marxists, we believe in the abolition of all existing things. That's not what we believe as Marxists. Social constructs, social relations, class, and state organization, they're products of capital. That is also not what we believe as Marxists. Not all of that. The Gotha critique attacks many of Lassalle's claims and goals with the Gotha program, famously debunking the claim that labor is the source of all wealth and culture. So this is where I'm like, this is ChatGPT. Famously debunking, that's ChatGPT language. Nature is just as much the source of use value, which is true, and it is surely of such that material wealth consists, weird wording, as labor, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I think this kid used ChatGPT. All right. And then he says, to add on this, you are the modern Lassalle. You fetishize class relations, make claims about welfare. I've never actually said anything about welfare in my life. Inherently anti-communist. Communism is not when welfare, it is when the abolition of such institutions. Correct. I am a communist. Along with many other incoherent, strictly moral, immaterial takes on objectively failed bourgeois states. which failed to produce anything of communism or strictly experimental old age projects. So I'm like, this is so weird. So you cannot claim to be a Marxist and fetishize existing bourgeois institutions, blah, blah, blah. So I get into this and I'm like, okay, well, you're correct that Lassalle said labor is the source of all wealth, and Marx famously clowned on him for it, as he should have. The largest issue Marx had with Lassalle was that he did not believe in revolution or the dictatorship of the proletariat. This is what made him a social democrat. Lassalle's entire argument was the worker collectives under capitalism would somehow be the revolution, which is not correct. Left comms intentionally misrepresent the Gothic critique as though Marx was mad at the idea of a state still existing under the DOTP, which is frankly silly. This is why the only text you can cite to back this up is critique of the Gothic program when you can't even do it right. So I get into this thing where finally with this person, whose name I'm covering up for their privacy, I say, look, here is my assessment of the critique of the Gothic program. Do you agree with this assessment or not? Like, what are we fighting about? You can't just, like, every message is just like, you love Lassalle. You're Lassallean. You love social democracy. And I'm like, okay, but I don't love those things. And so what are we actually disagreeing about? And so the reason I show you all this is because I'm like, what are we actually disagreeing about here? Here is my understanding of critique of the Gothic program. Critique of the Gothic program is a critique of a German social democrats platform that was anti-DOTP, that was anti-revolutionary, right? This guy, Marx even makes a comment in here where he's like, Lassalle is really, really interested in the abolition of the capitalist class, but not the abolition of the land-owning class. And Marx is like, that's weird. Put a pin in that. Well, with the benefit of hindsight, we understand it's because Lassalle was very interested in worker collectives being a stand-in for the revolution, right? And this was an issue because for him, he doesn't care about the landowners, right? Because you can have a worker collective and rent your factory from a landowner. Who cares? All he cares about is worker collectives. We know that now. So this is the actual critique of the Gothic program. The Gothic program was a social democratic program that wanted to reform and not abolish capitalism. They wanted to empower worker collectives, which he doesn't say in the Gothic program, but we come to find that later, right? So, going off of this, so I'm like, do you agree with this assessment, or do you have a fundamental different reading of the Gothic program? And this person, because I'm just trying to figure out, I'm like, where do we disagree? Right? I don't like Lassalle. I've never said I liked Lassalle. I never said I liked Kautsky. I never said I liked social democracy. Where do we disagree exactly? And this kid cannot come up with what we disagree about. It's just like, you love Kautsky. You're a Lassallean. You love social democracy. And it's like, but I don't. So, but why are you talking about that? Stay on topic. What do we disagree about? So this is the nature of talking to these people. They don't actually have an ideologic basis for their disagreement with another person. And so, like, the thing that we're trying to do for me to even understand what the disagreement is this person has with me, we're not even there yet, because they can't even stay on topic or answer the issue, right? They're bouncing all over the place with these words. And this is one of the shortcomings, right, of I can tell this person didn't get their ideology themselves. They got it from listening to a person on the internet. And you guys know, I'm here, I talk to you on the internet. I don't tell you to listen to me. I tell you to go read this stuff yourself. I tell you to join an organization. I tell you to study with other people. I'll give you a little bit and I'll say, go do the rest on your own. Go talk to other people in real life. But you fall into these pits where I would not be surprised if that person just watches this Spontex guy's videos and uses buzzwords that, and this is probably a kid. And that's why I'm like, I want you to understand that, like, you're not forming coherent arguments. You don't even know or understand the nature of your disagreement as a left com with the Marxist-Leninists. Do you believe all Marxist-Leninists are social democrats? Do you believe I am a deviation from a standard Marxist-Leninist perspective? What is the belief here? And furthermore, how can you claim to understand critique of the Gothic program if you don't understand Lassalle, if you don't know what social democracy was advocating for and against? So all of these things are super, super interesting. So this is why I'm like, okay, this whole world of being like the actual world of being an online leftist, not as the liberals say it, but as we as Marxists understand it, which is where people fall into weird like YouTube holes, they fall into Reddit threads, they're watching TikTokers and having that be the extent of what they think is their understanding of theory or how it works. It ends up with a lot of people regurgitating the same tired lines over and over again without understanding what they mean. Read Critique of the Gothic program. Most of the people saying this don't know what that means. And that's why we say all roads when you read more lead you to Marxist-Leninism, because the more you read, you will understand. The more you reread Critique of the Gothic program. Ask yourself, challenge yourself, where in this text does Marx say that he opposes any state form existing whatsoever? That he says during the dictatorship of the proletariat, there cannot be a state existing ever. He doesn't say anything like that anywhere. He's clowning on a social democrat for being anti-revolution, which he should be. He's correct to do it. So, these are the same people who they don't understand what they're saying. I don't know. It's just very, very weird. So this Spontex guy, this makes sense to me. He's building an army of ignorant left comms. So yeah, and then his argument here is you literally claim China is socialist and have a voting guide on your page unironically. And it's like, yeah, and what does the voting guide recommend you do? The voting guide tells you to vote for Marxists not running in a bourgeois party, right? That's it. That's what it does. But they don't understand this because they don't understand. It's the same kind of people who told me like, well, Ramsey Robinson is a social democrat, and I'm like, why? And they're like, oh, because he's not running, or he's running in a bourgeois party, and I'm like, but he's not, and nobody will even look at that. Nobody will even, they're just repeating things they think. Yeah. Anyway, so very, very interesting. Sorry for my rant. Yeah, they don't know the difference between Mamdani and Ramsey Robinson. They don't know the difference between a Marxist-Leninist Zaystow and Lassalle. And it's a very, very bizarre way of thinking, but it does make sense. And it is this like something, I saw something on the internet once and now everybody repeats it mentality. And I encounter that a lot, having a large following. You can tell when someone saw something on the internet once and now everybody's repeating it. You can tell when a video went viral. So USSR murdered, genocided Christians, that must have gone viral. Communization theory, that must have gone viral. Lassalle, Kautsky-Lassalle, that must have gone viral recently, right? And that's all that tells me. Is that, oh, so you saw a video on this that got kind of popular. Got it. So anyway, Spontex is fixated on the capitalist relations being preserved and commodity production and actually existing socialism. He says that's why actually existing socialism aren't socialist at all. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I've seen a lot of people fixated on this too. If any commodity production exists, like, then it's still a capitalist mode of production. And you're like, yes, and capitalist modes of production can exist in the transition period. It's a transition period for a fucking reason. And this is why also I have people read fucking Principles of Communism. I'm like, look, if your ideology can't pass the entry-level text, like, if your argument can't pass the entry-level text, at what point do you admit that you're lost in the sauce, my guy? You're lost in the sauce. Hi, Sunny Macy. And they will get very, very fixated on these specific phrases, specific things. And this is what ultimately I was like, it's amazing how many people call them Marxists but have never read Marx. Or they've read just little bits and key phrases, not in the context of things. They've read Critique of the Gotha Program, but not in the context of what the Gotha Program was or who Lassalle was. They've read commodity fetishism, but not in the context of commodity production on the whole and what that means. They've read specific claims about the mode of production and what constitutes what mode of production, but not what the transition period out of capitalism looks like. And this is why they come up with these distorted, they're bastardizations of Marxism, basically used to uphold a neo form of anarchism at the end of the day, of anarchism. So, okay, sorry for my rant. It is like an angry child. This is where the new influx of left comms are coming from. They're probably going to be responding to this all over the place on YouTube, and I guess on Spontex's TikTok. Have fun with that. And they can feel free to do whatever they want. This is what they do. And again, this is why they attack people without political power instead of concepts and ideas. Because when they actually have to rely on concepts and ideas, they have 3 disjointed sentences, and it's not enough to make a post about. And that's what it is at the end of the day, right? And it's like, if your video is like debunking this person, it's like, you already failed the fucking test, man. You already failed the fucking test. Lenin said they were infantile for a reason. Lenin said left-wing communism is an infantile disorder for a reason, and he was correct. And you see us dealing with the same thing Lenin was dealing with back in the day. So, okay. Sorry about that, everyone. Let's get into Weapons Wednesday. Yes, I agree with Virgo on this about DPRK. All right. The difference between ultras and left comms, I was always under the impression that like a Maoist would be more of an ultra than a left comm, though in practice they both hate communism. There are people who claim to be communists but hate all. Yeah, you're like, defend an actually existing socialist place, and they're like, never. I hate communism. They are the most anti-communist communists on the planet. It's fucking wild. It's fucking wild. All right, so who has the link to the nuke map? Let's take a look at the nuke map again. Does anybody have that link? Yes, we will talk about your strike, your evil redneck. Do you want to do that before we do nuke map? I was thinking we do it at the end. But if you can't stick around for the whole thing, we can do yours. Anarchists are ultras. Okay. Interesting. Hegel's got a nuke map for us. In the meantime, let's talk about the strike while we wait. Bomba. And Virgo has a bomb for us to talk about. We also have a chatter with a strike for us to discuss. Sorry, you just had to watch me go on a rant about people creating more left comms on the internet. Okay, nuclear secrecy map. Yeah, let's get it. Let's do it. Okay, so Your Evil Redneck has a union strike coming up. So we're going to talk about that for a second. I'm going to share that with you guys, and I'll make a video for you too. I have to add that to my to-do list for the day, so I'm going to open that to remember to make a video for you on TikTok. Here, hold on just a sec. Add. Oops, sorry. I have to do this for myself. This is why it's kind of annoying. All right, so Your Evil Redneck. What is the link if you want to share it with everybody to learn more about your strike? Obsis is the funniest amongst us. A coalition of 5 rail unions is going to shut down the largest commuter railroad, passenger and freight, in the U.S. And we are losing the PR battle. Okay, got it. Is there a link online to something that explains this? So we can share. Oh, yeah, you're getting. Okay, sorry. Yeah, it's really a right-wing deviation disguised with left language, hence the ultra-leftist. Yeah, I mean, look, the thing about these people is that if the ultimate goal is deregulation, and it is, and that is like a kind of a joke, and it is kind of an oversimplification, but ultimately at the end of the day, if your end goal is deregulation, how am I not supposed to take that as being right-wing? Right? And this is why I joke I'm radically pro-bureaucracy. Kautskyite, yeah, they're all calling everybody Kautskyite, whatever, blah blah blah. It's silly and goofy. All right, we're still waiting. Sorry, we are waiting for the strike convo that we're gonna share. Even the smallest one blows up your entire city. First time chat. Okay, nuke map. So I think bureaucracy is great. I love bureaucracy. Look, So nuke map. This is what we're going to be talking about after we talk about the strike. We're going to be reading about this bomb, the largest atomic test in world history from 2020. And then we're going to be looking at the nuke map. And this is a map that shows where you are, what it would look like if you were nuked. And you can set a location, and then you can also choose which weapon and what it looks like. Okay, Your Evil Redneck. Thank you. Okay, so we have, I'm going to pin this from Your Evil Redneck for everybody. So this is the strike info we have going on. The clock is ticking. Strike looms as LIRR workers face another year without a raise. Just over 2 weeks until, and this is from April 29th, so we're coming up on it. How many days until this happens, Your Evil Redneck? I know media is anti-labor. Don't worry. That's what we do on this stream. We talk about the biases in the media, etc., etc., etc. Don't worry. So 3 days until the strike starts. So union leaders met with the MTA, and this is in Long Island, on Wednesday following heated discussions at a recent board meeting. During the public comment period, Gil Lang, general chairman of the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers and trainmen for the LIRR, criticized the MTA for its lack of urgency. He spoke on behalf of 5 unions currently engaged in contract negotiations. Now, are all 5 of you going on strike together? Saturday, May 16th. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to pull up my to-do list and take notes. So it's all 5 of you in New York City. Wow, that's amazing. All right, hold on. So okay, video about strike. May 16th, 5 unions in New York City. Got it. Okay. A New York City commuter rail, the only way in and out of the city. Wow. So this wouldn't affect any domestic travel within New York City. Right? This would just be people coming and going. The commuter rail in particular. Sorry, I don't know much about trains. It would not. Okay. I mean, this is still major though. The power you guys have as laborers, where if you abstain from work, you could literally make it so that people cannot, like bridge and tunnel crowd, right? They couldn't enter the city of New York to do their work. Is that correct? The subways will still run. So this is the commuter traffic. Yes, their contract will be carbon copy based on your wins. Obviously, we know this. When one union has wins, other unions are able to use that as a precedent, and it helps them negotiate for more wins in the future too. So this is major. So you guys have a lot of sway here. So I understand why New York is mad at you and trying to spin the narrative and make it look like you're bad, evil people who want to destroy everybody's life, right? Just for doing what you have the right to do, which is withhold your labor. If your labor is so important that the entire city can't function and its entire economy shuts down without it, they should start acting like that. They should start treating you like that, right? So LIRR workers are union members who've gone 3 years without a raise, and obviously cost of living in New York has shot up in 3 years in that time. Massive amounts. We requested the last meeting. 40 days have passed with no response. There's no new bargaining session, no counter proposal, no sense of urgency. This is wild. Yeah, this is like when sanitation workers go on strike and everything shuts down real quick. I mean, for New York City, transportation in and out of the city is major. Not just tourism, but also everyday workers. There are so many people who live outside the city because they can't afford to. Workers who cannot afford to live in the city they work in, and they have to commute to work every single day, right? So this affects everything. You successfully won over a board of federal mediators under a Republican White House, which is shocking. That is shocking, yeah. Good job, though. Good job. If a strike occurs, it would be the first time in almost 40 years, and the Long Island Railroad could come to a stop, potentially affecting over 200,000 New Yorkers who ride it to get to the city every single week. Wow. Both sides have agreed to raises of 3% for 2023 and 2024, 3.5% for 2025, but remain on opposite sides over pay to a 5% raise. They're gonna let the whole city get shut down. It's gonna be the whole city. I mean, it's the whole city. Your labor affects the whole city. Your labor keeps the whole city functioning, and they're gonna let it get shut down over a 5% raise. That's wild. So this is publicly owned. The people you're negotiating with, it's not a private company, right? It's a public. It's government service. Is that correct? MTA public, yeah. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. Carmageddon, New York City. Or they'll break the strike and they'll bring in people. That's true, too. Yeah, the union was being strategic. I mean, I think 5% is fine. I don't think there's anything egregious about that whatsoever. Okay. Your public sector employee is regulated under the Railway Labor Act. That's literally impossible. That's good. Okay, that's good. All right, so I'll make a video for you on TikTok as well to raise attention to it. So your goal right now is to drum up public support, I'm guessing, for the strike. Is there anything specific? Is there a strike fund that people can donate to if you guys do end up having to go on strike? Is there someone specific that people can put pressure on? Is there a day of action or something that people show up to show their support? What are the things that, because I know people are going to want a tangible thing they can do to help you. We're well-funded Teamsters. Okay, that's good. All right. Is there, yeah, tell us what we can have people do to help you. 5% is way less than even one day of the city getting shut down. So true. That's really, really, really true. Did you guys hear the cat run across my roof? It's so loud. I mean, it's just wild when they try to vilify striking workers. Reach out to New York Governor Kathy Hochul. This is her ball game. Okay, so Kathy Hochul, she's the one who can make this happen, right? So if you reach out, our goal is just to have people vocalize their support for the strike. Yeah. Book refundable tickets if that's something. That's all you're looking for. Okay, got it. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. Sorry you had to watch me rant about left comms before we got to this. This is easy. And I'll make you a video on TikTok today. Probably today as well. I'm going to try to remember to do it today. Okay? All right. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I hope it doesn't have to come to a strike. I hope they come to their senses. Because you guys have a lot of power. You have great power. And you could shut down a significant portion of the city's economy. And it's wild. 5%. They're gonna shoot themselves in the foot over 5%. But it's like you said, it's because if you win, it's a precedent. And then everybody can win. And that's why it's so important what we can accomplish with organized labor. Right? Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's get into Weapons Wednesday, everybody. Let's get into it. Yeah. Solidarity with our train workers. Everybody loves trains. Everybody loves trains. You know? Okay. So, yes, we'll show. There's 2 small portions, mild NATO propaganda. Okay, wait, Car, wait until we do the poll for the main content, not the Weapons Wednesday content. Give me a minute on that, okay? All right. So, for Weapons Wednesday, we're going to take a look at Tsar Bomba. The combined force of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings was minuscule in comparison to the Tsar Bomb by the most awesome nuclear weapon ever detonated. The nuclear arms race that originated in the race for atomic weapons during World War II reached a culminating point on October 30th, 1961 with the detonation of Tsar Bomba, the largest and most powerful nuclear weapon ever constructed. The atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki on August 6th and 9th, 1945 placed the United States in an apparently unchallengeable position as the world's only possessor of nuclear weapons. But that primacy didn't last long. The Soviet Union made halting progress in its own nuclear weapons program during the war, and in 1945, Soviet Premier Stalin ordered an intensification of these efforts. Soviet penetration of the British and American atomic weapons program, thanks to activities of spies such as Klaus Fuchs, aided in the efforts of Soviet scientists to design and construct their own weapons. The Soviets successfully tested their first atomic weapon on August 29th, 1949, so that's really, really fast. 20 days later, the USSR was like, yeah, we can do that too. After which both superpowers upped the ante by working furiously to develop the far more powerful thermonuclear weapons or hydrogen bombs. The US got there first, testing their Ivy Mike test on November 1st, 1952, but once again the Soviets were close behind. Soviet scientist Andrei Sakharov, heading his country's research into thermonuclear weapons, oversaw the detonation of a hydrogen bomb on August 12th, 1953, in the area that's now Kazakhstan. From there, the United States and Soviet Union carried out further series of open-air tests of atomic weapons, and Great Britain emulated these with open-air atomic tests in the late 1950s. Americans focused on perfecting an accurate delivery system for small to medium-sized atomic devices, but the Soviets concentrated on building larger and larger devices of almost unimaginable power, and the Tsar Bomba was the outcome. So they chose a site to test this in the Arctic Circle, and Sakharov also played a significant role in designing this weapon. It was 26 feet long, almost 7 feet in diameter, and weighed almost 60,000 pounds. A strategic bomber was designated to deliver the device from 34,000 feet, and the bomb would be attached to a parachute to slow its descent to detonation at 13,000 feet, giving the bomber an escort additional time to escape at least 30 miles away before detonation. Even so, the crewmen were told they only had a 50% chance of survival, and they barely made it. Wow. The detonation was astronomically powerful, over 1,570 times more powerful in fact than the combined 2 bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Look for nuclear bomb size comparisons on Google Images. Whoa. This is a pretty interesting one. So this is Hiroshima. This is Nagasaki. Is this La Bomba? What is it called? It's not called La Bomba. Tsar Bomba. Tsar Bomba. That's from 2020 though, so no. You've not heard... Oh, you've heard of Fat Boy, but not Little Boy or Fat Man. Yeah, those are the names. La Bomba. Not La Bomba. Not La Bomba. Tsar Bomba. Tsar Bomba. The mushroom cloud was 25 miles wide at its base and 60 miles wide to its top. At 40 miles high, it penetrated into the stratosphere. Everything within 36 miles of the impact was vaporized, but severe damage extended to a 150-mile radius. Enough to annihilate any modern major city, including suburbs. Windows in Norway and Finland were shattered by the force of the blast. The clouds beneath the aircraft in the distance were lit up by a powerful flash. The sea of light spread under a hatch, and even clouds began to glow and become transparent. At that moment, our aircraft emerged from between 2 cloud layers, and down below a gap In the gap, a huge bright orange ball was emerging. The ball was powerful and arrogant like Jupiter. Powerful and arrogant like Jupiter is a hell of a sentence. Slowly and silently it crept upwards. Having broken through the thick layer of clouds, it kept growing. It seemed to suck the whole earth into it. The spectacle was fantastic, unreal, and supernatural. Wow. This is wild. Tsar Bomba's original concept had been, if it had been pursued, the radioactive fallout would have been catastrophic. But because of the height at which the device was detonated, the accompanying 5-mile fireball was repelled away from the surface by the force of its own shock wave, and it did not make contact with Earth, thus greatly reducing the amount of fallout. Wow. A test of this magnitude could not have been concealed. Now Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev had every intention of shocking the world by the Tsar Bomba's power. However, condemnation was instantaneous, not just from the U.S. and its allies, I bet, but from the whole world. Up to this point, the U.S. and the Soviet Union had carried out hundreds of open-air nuclear weapons tests. Sakharov, horrified not just by the Tsar Bomba, but by the cumulative effects of the emissions of all these tests, became a strong supporter of imposing limitations on them in the future. The only beneficial result of Tsar Bomba's world-threatening display was the Partial Nuclear Test Ban Treaty of August 5th, 1963, signed by the USA, Soviet Union, and Great Britain. This is very, very interesting. Okay. So, this is Tsar Bomba, big boy. Now, I'm in Los Angeles. This is centered in downtown Los Angeles. And this nuke map shows you, if we do Tsar Bomba, that's the one we just read about. Tsar Bomba. Hello, please load. Loading. Oh, this is the test site. This is, okay, no. Sorry. We want to actually target Los Angeles, where I am. But we're going to do the Tsar Bomba bomb, and we hit detonate. This shows you everything that would be affected. Long Beach to San Fernando, big crater. So the fireball itself would be 4 miles wide. Bye-bye downtown LA. Moderate blast damage radius. This is when most residential buildings collapse and everything catches on fire, is in this one. Then thermal radiation radius. 3rd degree burns throughout layers of skin. They destroy your pain nerves. They cause severe scarring and disablement. They require amputation. Bye-bye Thousand Oaks, Ontario, and Irvine. And this is light blast damage radius. Glass windows expected to break, etc. So this is massive. The red part is instant death, by the way. Or the yellow part. This part, instant. I think it's all instant death. Most hospitals are gone too. Yeah, so no one's helping. Brody would survive. I'm iced. So let's see what this looks like on New York City. Right? This is the same thing on New York City. This is crazy. Bye-bye Dime Square hipsters. Bye-bye Brooklyn. This is insane. This is massive. And they were right when they said this could destroy... The Soviets could wipe any city in the United States off the map. That is so true. Yeah, the best part is to be in the center part. You don't want to survive that. Yeah. Comrade Virgo, if this hits New York City, I'm fine. Me too. We live in California. That's so funny. Yeah, this is so wild. Does anybody else want to do... I'm not talking about what I'm doing. Okay, just curious. Do Texas. Okay, let's do Texas. We have to put it in. Let's do Houston. Dallas? We'll do Dallas. Go. Yeah. Dallas, Fort Worth area. Goodbye. I mean, this thing's huge. Just the sheer size of this is, like, insane. Yeah. Reminder that now Russia has this plus hypersonic delivery system with nuclear propulsion. Yeah, everything they do is a kindness to us, actually, that they're not doing this. Fresno, how dare you? Banned. Big Gakko and Big Yahoo. You're both bigs. I just realized you're both bigs. Both of our trolls are bigs. Columbus, Ohio. Okay, Columbus, Ohio. Wow. That's most of Ohio. Chicago. Go. Oh. Wow. Do Rhode Island. Oh my God, Rhode Island. Guys, I have a confession to make. Oops. I have a confession to make to you all. Oh my God. Oh my God. Boston hits it too? Yeah. If you take out Providence, you take out Boston too. Way too close together up there. Did you actually bomb my apartment? Minneapolis. No, Fresno will be victorious. My confession is I don't understand the Turf Island references. What is Turf Island? I missed it. I don't know when this happened on the internet. I've only seen people talk about it. I don't know what Turf Island is. I have no clue what people are talking about when they talk about Turf Island. The UK? Is the UK Turf Island? Shut up! How did this come about? J.K. Rowling's house? Oh. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. That's funnier than I thought. That's funnier than I thought it was. I don't know what I was expecting, but that's way better. calling England Turf Island. Wow, the internet's great. I love it. What are you doing? You can't do that. No, I like my curtains. Please don't. Yeah, your nail got stuck. That's karma. No, Hapes. Please don't do that. How do you make it stop clawing things? She just booped me. How do you get her to not claw things? You can't. Okay, that's kind of what I thought. I should ask. Hi. Hello. Yes, you want to kill me and destroy my curtains? She wants to kill me and destroy my curtains. I've never picked up Zay before. She has scratches everywhere. They're all over this house. She's got scratch posts everywhere. Psst, 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 psst. Yeah, Zay's disabled. So I've never picked her up because she's very sensitive about being lifted. Yeah. Her back legs don't work very well. Yeah. Oh, Hegel's big dialecticals. Uh-oh. No, I'm very allergic to her. Yeah, I'm fucked up right now as we speak. My throat's destroyed. Oh, okay, peppermint spray. Okay, I'll do it. Okay. Hi. Hello. She's so cute. She's so cute. Hi. Yes. What do you want? I get it. I'm a cat guy now. I'm a cat guy. Yeah, she's front-wheel drive. She's really buff up front, too. I think she likes me. Oh, okay. So, all right. Pizza Famine has an interesting first for Weapons Wednesday. Zora bomb is a bit misleading. It's delivered as a traditional dumb bomb, which means it's just dropped from a plane. Modern nuclear warfare would deliver payloads through ICBMs. Interesting. Because it's but then it's can you shoot down a plane carrying a massive bomb? Front wheels drivers say she is. Buff say. She's like Danzig. She's all buff up top. Hi. Oh, I like her. I like the cat. It's crazy. Okay. All right. So, that's it. That's our Weapons Wednesday. Now, chat, let's move on to normally scheduled programming about, about the news. So Malik earlier said that there was a coup attempt in Mali. Did you guys see that? That would interest me to talk about. That was from 2 weeks ago. That's my rack. So I'm going to do 4 more racks. Trump arrived in Beijing, but send me something that's not a Twitter link. Everybody get your links ready. Everyone get your links ready. Russia is giving military help to fight against it. Yes. Okay. I missed that 2 weeks ago. So that would be good for us to talk about. And yeah, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you already sent your link, get ready to send it again. Go. Go. Ukrainian Special Forces involved in herd. Yes. Okay, I missed this on Molly. Trump Rally Beijing. Not a Twitter link. An actual, something we can read. Something like a big news story. Code Pink. Canada is quietly putting war into your portfolio. I believe it. I like those ladies at Code Pink. I think they're delightful ladies. It's the Chinese embassy? Okay, alright, okay. Is it long? Is it like an article we could read? Oh, no, it's not. It's just this. It's just this. They're doing... It's the gardener. You guys can hear that? That's crazy. I can't believe you can hear that. Okay. Number 4. All right, I need a 5th. We're doing news analysis. So give me news stories. Full stories for us to talk about. All right. I think I got 5. Here's what I got from the chat. Oh, we already did this. We did the Arcadia thing yesterday. Yeah, Code Pink is very pissed off Grandma Core. Okay, we got one more. We got it. Okay, I think we have 5. There we go. Is this? Yes. Okay, we got it. So here are our 5 for today. We're ready. Okay, we've got the Mali coup, which we never talked about, which would be good. We've got the USA is getting car-mogged by China. Okay. Bye, Kaltimos. Good luck. Canada investing in war. We have... this is interesting. West Bengal left's declining electoral strength. So the left in Bengal. And then we have... This is the same thing, though. This is kind of the same thing, right? The Left Democratic Front's defeat in Kerala. Is this... I think these might be similar issues. I love that his name's Mr. Baby. I know that's not his name, and I respect other people's cultures, but I want his name to be Mr. Baby. Okay, so declining left in India. These are both India in the Indian left. And we need one more, actually. We actually need one more. So I'm going to open up this one. Donald Trump arrives in Beijing. It's from Z. You made the cut. So the Indian left and then Donald Trump in Beijing. That's what we got. Okay, so those are the ones. All right, everybody. Car, send me your video now so we can watch it while the poll's going on. You know the rules. Voter Gulag. Refresh your chat to vote for what we talk about today. Please vote. Voting is mandatory. Do your civic duty. Okay, and while voting happens, we'll watch this video from Car.
Today is Transgender Day of Visibility.
Hold on. Ugh, all the alerts. All the left comms.
Being on dating apps.
Not be talking about dating apps.
Today is Transgender Day of Visibility and the last day of Women's History Month, which makes it the perfect day to talk about the trans woman whose appeal to the Ayatollah Khomeini changed the course of transgender history in Iran, Mariam Molkara. Welcome back to Yesterqueers. My name's Amanda, and I'm a public historian of queer history. You may be surprised to learn that Iran is one of the world's leaders in gender-confirming surgeries. Not only is it legal for trans people in Iran to transition medically, it's also supported by the government, both financially and administratively. Trans people can take out government loans in order to cover the cost of surgeries, and they can also easily get new birth certificates, ID cards, and passports. But modern-day Iran still relies on the belief in a gender binary to enforce strict gender roles, and Mariam's story is one that is steeped in transmedicalism. The history of gender and sexuality in Iran, especially post-revolution, is incredibly complex, and Western scholars and historians often oversimplify it and therefore misrepresent it. I'm going to try to avoid that trap, but if you want more information, I recommend this book by Harvard professor Afsaneh Najmabadi and this article by M. Alipur. They're both linked on the resource page. Mariam Khatoon Molkara was born in 1950 in a small but beautiful town near the Caspian Sea that I believe is pronounced Abkanar. She said in a 2004 interview that she would scream anytime her mother tried to dress her in boys' clothes, and all she wanted to do was play dolls with the other girls. She prayed every night for a miracle that would change her body and later her desires, but it never came. Maryam moved to Tehran when she was 18 or 19. She took a job at the Iranian national television station and joined what was then Tehran's thriving queer social scene. She met other queer people for the first time, and gradually she went from wearing regular men's clothes to flamboyant men's clothes to women's clothes. But she hadn't really reconciled with her gender. In truth, she was very confused, so she finally sought out a psychologist to help her sort out her feelings about her body and her sexuality. It was the psychologist who told her that she wasn't a gay man, but in fact a straight trans woman, and that she could undergo something that he called sex reassignment surgery. This was a light bulb moment for Maryam. She had no idea that was even an option. But Maryam was very religious, and before she got her hopes up, she wanted to make sure that such a thing was allowed under Islamic law. So Maryam went to see one of the most senior clerics, Ayatollah Bebayani, to get his input. Bebayani performed something called istikhara, a prayer in which you allow the Quran to fall open and take your guidance on a question from the page that's revealed. The Quran fell open to the Surah of Maryam, the only chapter.
Did Zay lay on something, or was that the end of the video? Oh! Internet out! Internet out! Ah! Internet out! Is it better? It's a little better now. It's a little better now. It's because Too Old for Twitch didn't vote. We're gonna have to rewatch it? Okay, we'll rewatch it. It's better now. It should be better. It's green. It's green. It's green. It's green. Ugh. You can hear me but not see me. Well,
Today is Transgender Day of Visibility, and that the other option was death. Maryam did Earth until then. Bebayani took this as a out under Islam.
Here it is. Here's where we left off.
Today is Transgender Day of Visibility and the last day of Women's History Month, which makes it the perfect day to talk about the trans woman whose appeal to the Ayatollah Khomeini changed the course of transgender history in Iran, Maryam Molkara. Welcome back to Yesterqueers. My name's Amanda, and I'm a public historian of queer history. You may be surprised to learn that Iran is one of the world's leaders in gender-confirming surgeries. Not only is it legal for trans people in Iran to transition medically, it's also supported by the government, both financially.
Where were we? Here.
She was given at birth until then. Bebayani took this as a sign that Maryam should live her life as a woman and that life was going to be full of struggle. But he urged her to write to Ayatollah Khomeini, who was then in Iraq, for more guidance. Khomeini's response was that she should have the surgery because one needed a clear gender identity in order to fulfill one's religious obligations. But Khomeini didn't seem to understand that Maryam was trans and not intersex, because having gender-confirming surgery as an intersex person was already permitted under Islamic law. That's going to be important in a second. Maryam came out as trans to her mother shortly thereafter, and it did not go well. It went so poorly, in fact, that Maryam paused her plans for surgeries, but she did start her hormone therapy, and she lived happily as a woman in Tehran until the revolution in 1979, which was brutal and often deadly for anyone who was considered deviant. Given that the other option was death, Maryam did okay. She was fired from her job, imprisoned in a psychiatric hospital, and forced to detransition, including being injected with male hormones against her will. She was eventually freed thanks to her connections with high-ranking clerics, and she lobbied all of them to provide protection for her and all of the other trans people in Iran. Every single cleric told her she was going to have to speak to the newly appointed supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Khomeini. Maryam spent 7 years trying unsuccessfully to get an audience with Khomeini. Iraq had invaded Iran in 1980, and everyone's attention was focused on that very bloody war. So in 1987, she simply walked up to the gates of Khomeini's compound in North Tehran. She was wearing a man's suit and carrying a copy of the Quran, and she had her shoes tied around her neck, a symbol that indicated she was seeking shelter. Unfortunately, Khomeini's bodyguards still beat her savagely. She screamed over and over that she was a woman, but because she was a tall person with a beard wearing a man's suit, the bodyguards assumed that the binding they could see around her chest through the collar of her shirt was an explosive vest. Khomeini's brother finally intervened and brought Maryam inside, where she ripped off the binding to reveal her breasts. The women in the room rushed to cover her with a chador. Khomeini's brother and son were so moved by Maryam's story, they told her that they would take her to see the supreme leader. Maryam fainted in response. When she came to, she was ushered into a room with Khomeini and 3 of his most trusted doctors. Mariam said in later interviews that as soon as she was in the presence of the Ayatollah, she felt the peace of paradise, as though there was suddenly a light in the darkness. I would imagine that this is probably how devout Catholics feel in the presence of the Pope. What followed was a conversation during which Mariam and the doctors explained to Khomeini the difference between being trans and being intersex. Oh, to have been a fly on that wall. After some consideration, Khomeini issued the following fatwa. In the name of God, sex reassignment surgery is not prohibited in Sharia law if reliable medical doctors recommend it. Inshallah, you will be safe. When Mariam left the compound that day, she had a letter addressed to the chief prosecutor and the head of medical ethics giving her religious authorization to change her gender, both physically and administratively. And she had a chador gifted to her by Supreme Leader Khomeini and President Khomeini. The government of Iran soon followed the fatwa and changed federal law to allow gender-confirming surgery for trans people. For a variety of reasons, Mariam didn't have her own gender-affirming procedures until 1997. But after her meeting with Khomeini, she dedicated her life to helping trans people in Iran obtain the life-saving care that they needed, right down to letting people recover in her home and bailing them out of jail when necessary. In 2007, she founded the first state-approved organization for transgender rights in Iran. Mariam Molkara died of a heart attack in 2012. She was just 62 years old. That's it for today. As always, more information, including sources.
Hey! That was a nightmare, but we got through it. I'm so sorry. Hi, everybody. I think that the stream is back now. I think that it's better now. Law. Sharia law. Sharia law. It's like when people say ATM machine. ATM machine. Automatic telling machine. No, it's not just you. So what one is Donald Trump being in China. We don't have much on it. However, we could lump that in with the car thing. I think that's very funny, and that's also China related. And if we have time, we could talk about the Molly coup. I do think that's also important, and it came in close second. Okay, so that was very, very good. Thank you for sharing that, Car. Thank you for sharing that. You really think we should talk about Molly? I agree. There's not a lot on this. So let's just get through this really fast. And then because it was a really close vote, I think we can justify both. They were very, very close. Yeah, it should be fast. So here we go. U.S. President Donald Trump arrives in Beijing. This is today. He arrived in China's capital, Beijing, on Wednesday evening. At the invitation of President Xi Jinping, Trump is paying a state visit to China from May 13th through 15th. Xi and Trump will have an in-depth exchange of views on major issues concerning China-U.S. relations and world peace and development. They last met in October 2025 in Busan, the Republic of Korea, its first visit to China by a U.S. president in 9 years. Chinese Vice President Han Zheng welcomed Trump upon his arrival, and that is kind of all we have. There he is. Look at him. Look at him go. He's on an airplane. He's descending. Oh my God, cat. Sorry. I hate this new system. It's kind of a cursed stream today. Between my left comm rants, between the lagging. This is like a cursed stream. You know? There we go. Cursed stream today. I'm glad I'm with all of you guys, though. I'm glad we're sharing it together. Yeah. Somebody earlier said that she should give him the Maduro treatment. There you go. Okay. Do I? Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I just kind of keep going. I've never watched enough other streamers to know what happens when they have connection issues. Spectrum. I know, right? Spectrum with a KKK. That's totally them. So I'm going to tie it in. Let's do the Molly thing too. Really all we have is like Trump in China. Let's see if anything else comes up. Live updates. Oh, Trump Xi summit. Taiwan. What that means for Taiwan and Iran. Actually, these are kind of interesting and relevant. So China's help in Iran may require U.S. concessions. Analysts say China may seek changes in U.S. policy towards Taiwan if it were to pressure Iran to reopen Hormuz. Oh, this is interesting. So the thought is if Donald Trump tells Xi Jinping that China should pressure Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, the negotiating power is that maybe the United States will stop trying to do a coup in Taiwan. A color revolution in Taiwan. That's what it is. This is the trade-off. We could lose Taiwan as the potential next Israel of East Asia if China agrees to pressure Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz. Bye, Virgo. He's not live yet. Okay. This is actually really fascinating. U.S. officials have suggested that China could play a greater role in pushing Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, but analysts say Beijing will require concessions from the U.S. likely over Taiwan if it were to aid in resolving the crisis. And Iran is unlikely to be at the top of the agenda in the meeting. The Iran issue is not really the central issue for either party in the summit, says Christopher Hurlin, an associate professor of government and Asian studies at Bowdoin College. This is so funny because these people are literally just guessing. They don't even know. They don't even know. He brought a bunch of tech CEOs with him to try to make deals. China's going to tell him to kick rocks. Okay, so it's a tech-based thing. Hewlin said that although the meeting was delayed earlier this year due to the war, Taiwan will remain China's top issue. While Trump will likely push Beijing to buy more U.S. soybeans? Oh, wait, really? This is what... God, our economy is so stupid. China's a major importer. I'm sorry. We will trade you one not doing a color revolution in Taiwan for many, many soya beans. Like, how is this real? Okay. Just when you say insane filter on this, or where is it on the chat? I want to move to China too. Oh my God. Yes, it feels normal. We're having a real normal one. We won't coup your island breakaway nation, pseudo breakaway nation, if you buy a bunch of our soybeans. So China is a major importer of Iranian and Middle East oil, so its economy could come under strain from the disruption caused by Tehran's Hormuz blockade and the U.S. naval siege on Iran. Still, Hurlin and Beijing have been reluctant to get involved in the crisis. In terms of Iran, the Chinese have sort of been positioning themselves as someone who might possibly be helpful in this regard. They hosted the Iranian foreign minister recently, but it seems like they've been holding off on putting any pressure on Iran to end the conflict, just waiting for the visit. While Beijing has amassed oil reserves that have helped it weather global energy shortfalls, such resources are finite, so China has an interest in opening the strait. At the same time, if Washington, Beijing's chief strategic competitor, is weakened globally from the Iran conflict, which is increasingly looking like an unwinnable war, yeah, no shit, the communists told you this. The Economist magazine summed up the dynamic on the front cover last month, featuring a photo of Xi looking at Trump with a quote attributed to Napoleon, "Never interrupt your enemy when he is making a mistake." Wait, really? Shut up. Load, please. Oh my God, this is cursed. My internet's so bad it's only giving me AI overviews. This is like so cruel to me. They're not gonna do to me right now. Oh my God. Ugh. It feels good to be a Marxist-Leninist. It feels good to be a Marxist-Leninist. Like, we're winning. Like, I understand that there's some global defeat of the left going on, but I think it's because it's like the death rattle of capitalism, right? That's your emote. It's so good. That's so smart. It's perfect. I love it. It's so good. The Economist is unironically making Marxist-Leninist memes. Like, we are winning, chat. I'm telling you. We are winning. This is like, it really is. It's all happening for us right now. This is the Leftcom's dying rattle, too. The Leftcom see us winning. So I want to do a dying rattle. He's a happy son, isn't he? It's so good. So a professor of international politics at the University of London said Trump's heads to China, chastened by shortcomings of the Iran war. Trump is going to be there in a bit of a situation. He needs Chinese support for opening the Strait of Hormuz. China needs the Strait of Hormuz to open for its own reasons. At the same time, they can use this as leverage regarding Taiwan. With petrol prices in the U.S. skyrocketing and fueling inflation, diplomacy stalled, and Trump's popularity plummeting, the war appears to be hampering the Republican president's domestic and global standing. Yeah, no shit. Very embarrassing situation. The attacks from Iran have closed the strait. We are reopening it. So I would urge the Chinese to join us in supporting this international operation, said U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Are we reopening it? Are we reopening it? That feels like wishful thinking at the moment. Amazing. Amazing. So cool. So William Yang, senior analyst for Northeast Asia at the International Crisis Group, said China and the U.S. both want the Hormuz to open, but their preferred approach to achieve the goal doesn't align. While China has been calling for restraint from all sides, Trump has been threatening Iran with enormous military attacks almost daily. Iran has refused to hold talks directly with the U.S. before Washington lifts its naval blockade. U.S. military initiative to reopen Hormuz by force while maintaining the siege on Iranian ports earlier this month was short-lived, ending less than 48 hours without significantly increasing traffic in the strait. Washington understands that it may need Beijing's help to nudge Iran back to the negotiating table, but it's also aware of the implications of directly seeking support from Beijing to end the blockade, as it would likely mean giving China the upper hand in bilateral relations. Trump has been trying to push Iran to accept the conditions that the U.S. has put forward through coercion, threatening to resume bombing if Tehran doesn't agree to its terms. She actually proposed a 4-point plan to safeguard and promote Middle East peace and stability, which was commitment to a peaceful coexistence, respect for national sovereignty. And you'll hear China talks about this a lot. Their big thing is respect for national sovereignty because they don't want their country to be divided and conquered. So they try to push for this as an international baseline for negotiations worldwide. And you will sometimes see them do things where you're like, why are they doing that? But it's because they have a hardline respect for national sovereignty, which basically means like, don't go into other countries and fuck shit up. And that's their position on Taiwan. Don't come into our country and tell us how to fucking do things. Don't try to do a Xinjiang separatist movement. Don't try to do a Taiwan separatist movement. Don't try to do a fucking Free Tibet 3.0 or whatever the hell. Like, absolutely not. Respect other countries' national sovereignty. So sometimes you will see them push for this and advocate for this, not just for themselves, but they apply it globally as well as like a standard. So if you ever see China doing something foreign policy-wise where you're like, what's that about? Ask yourself if it comes back to respect for national sovereignty, because they push this a lot. So commitment to international law and backing a balanced approach to development and security. While vague, the proposal reflected a preference for multilateralism and diplomacy in contrast with Trump's reliance on military power to advance his goals in the region. I don't even think he knows his goals anymore. I think originally his goal was to put the Shah back in Iran. He realized that the Shah does not have public support, so that would not happen, and they would get a full-on coup like almost immediately. So then I think he was talking about, what was it, the MEK, that group in the United States putting them in power. But I don't think he has anybody really in a position to be the new leadership and be accepted by the Iranian people even somewhat if he were successful with his goal of doing regime change there. So I think that's part of why also he's just claiming they already did regime change. One, for optics, but two, also because there's nobody that the Iranian people would accept without immediately revolting in a position to be the new regime or whatever the hell, right? So I think that's also part of the problem that's going on here. China believes that a comprehensive ceasefire is of utmost urgency and that resuming hostilities is even less acceptable, and that adhering to negotiations is particularly important, according to Beijing's foreign ministry. China supports Iran in safeguarding its national sovereignty and security and appreciates Iran's willingness to seek a political solution through diplomatic channels. At the same time, China calls for restoring normal and safe passage through Hormuz, which appears to be at odds with Iran's claim of sovereignty over the strategic waterway which emerged after the war. So China buys oil from Iran despite U.S. sanctions, and Washington has voiced concern about Beijing's sale of products which could be repurposed for military use by Tehran. However, before the war, the Iran file was the afterthought in the competition between the U.S. and China. Over the past 2 decades, Washington has come to see Beijing as a top global challenger in the Chinese economy. Obviously, Trump formally recognized China as a strategic competitor during his first term. And that's the alarm that says it's time for us to officially switch over to the maps. So maybe let's talk about the Mali coup tomorrow. Is everybody okay with skipping the vote tomorrow and talk about the Mali coup? Because I do think we should talk about that, and it did almost win. Yeah, the Iranian people will run whoever is installed through the meat grinder. Yeah, they're not doing 1953 to 1979 again. They're not doing that. They remember. They're not going to do that. Is lesbian hot sauce in here? Oh my god, yes! Hi. You're all right too. Wow. Hi. Yeah, it's closed for the US and its proxies. So yeah, I think let's do the Mali one tomorrow because I do think that's important. Oh, Theory Thursday's tomorrow. Friday. Maybe Friday. Let's do Friday for Mali. Will you guys help me remember? I'll forget because I have ADHD rat brain. But help me remember. Tomorrow we'll do Thursday. Because I'm all on this leftcom terror, part of me thinks we need to literally read Critique of Gotha program for these clowns, because they don't get it. Here's a leftcom meme about me and Ash. Great. We don't even like the DSA. What does this even mean? It's mocha. It's a choose your own mocha. Me. Oh, at least they chose me looking cute. Ash. Who's this? Who's this guy? Who are these two? Are they in the DSA? Are these Vaush and Hassan? Is Hitler in here? There's Hitler! They have no consistent ideological standpoint at all. Oh my god. This is so funny. Okay, that's Hassan. And who's this? Do they think we're DSA? Confirmed, the left comms don't know the difference between DSA and Marxist Leninism. Or Hitler. Or fascism. And they think they're not liberals. This meme, if you told me this meme was made by a Vote Blue No Matter Who liberal named Barbara from Nantucket, I would tell you this was correct. A left comm made this. Not a Vote Blue No Matter Who stay-at-home mom. Not a man named Keith who's really into NATO and Donald Trump. They literally they don't understand left-wing political ideologies. Voosh. They're lib-maxing. The left comms are lib-maxing so hard. What are we agreeing on? Left comm bad? We're all agreeing left comm bad in their mind. No, they're not. I'm telling you, they're very fucking confused. They're unironically doing horseshoe theory memes. The left comms are unironically doing horseshoe theory. I have face blindness. I'm so sorry. I have face blindness. I don't know. I know this because Mocha always has the headphones in. I know Ash because you told me Ash was in it. I recognize myself in this meme, but sometimes I don't. I recognize Stalin because of the mustache. They're unironically doing double genocide theory and horseshoe theory, and they want us to take them seriously as communists. This is so funny. Thank you for showing me this. This is crazy. They think they're further left. Do they? I don't even know what they think anymore. They think everyone's right wing. Oh my god. Hassan's never been upset with me. Hassan's always been very nice to me. I want to clarify that. Hassan's always been very nice to me. You won't hear me say bad things about Hassan. Hassan's always been very nice to me. We don't have the same politics, and we both know that. But Hassan's always been very nice to me. I just want to clarify that. Hassan is one of the few people on the internet who has different politics than me, who has never been an opportunist or dragged my name through the mud or said anything unkind about me. Yeah. Yeah. So I just want to put that out there. I respect Hassan as a content creator for that purpose. Yeah, I just don't know who he is. And I have face blindness, so it's hard for me to know people. Right, yeah, and Hitler. And Hitler. Oh my god. Yeah, he spent his last stream defending Stalin, the USSR, and the immortal science. Well, yeah, it's great. It's awesome. The left comms are deranged anarchists who are in denial. They're deranged anarchist liberals who are in denial. They literally don't. Look, some of them we work with on things, and they're fine. But the ones on the internet lately, and the Spontex things make sense. There's a Pied Piper of these idiots on the internet leading teenagers into unironic liberalism. Yeah, we can. Sorry, Zay, I gotta move this. Yeah. Let's get into the map, though. Should we get into the map? One of them's LaSalle. This guy, I think, one of the mustache men's LaSalle. LaSalle has a mustache. I remember that. One's probably Kautsky. They're obsessed with LaSalle and Kautsky right now. Spontex must be talking to them a bunch about LaSalle and Kautsky. And the funny thing is that you would think LaSalle and Kautsky were very influential and very important. They're not particularly influential or important. The way the left comms talk about them, you would think that they successfully won revolutions and led nations. No, they're just some guys Marx got into a fight with a couple times. The left comms are anarcho-langlius. Stealing that. Ghost in this hell. Oh, yeah, the left comms also think Lenin's a Menshevik. That's the other thing they think. If you explain Lenin to them, because they've never read Lenin, they think Lenin's a Menshevik. The left comms. The left comms are unironically doing horseshoe theory and admitting they don't understand left-wing politics. So a Menshevik would be the opposite of a Bolshevik. So during the Russian Revolution, it was the Bolsheviks versus the Mensheviks. The Mensheviks were advocating for incrementalism and like more of like a reformist kind of perspective, and the Bolsheviks were the revolutionary communists. So Lenin was the leader of the Bolsheviks, and the thing that's wild about these left comms is that because they don't understand anything about Lenin, if you read Lenin out loud, videos have gone viral of me reading Lenin out loud, and I had comments going, peddling Menshevism in the big 2026 from these people, and I'm like, this is literally Lenin. He was the leader of the Bolsheviks. And they don't know, because they don't understand Lenin. They don't understand anything. They were basically like DSA. Yeah, think like DSA. Make a meme about them. And it's them and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. We agree. Communists are evil. We agree. Oh. Edward Bernstein. History. This thing is so funny. I don't even know any. There's like 12 left comms. I mean, there have been more. This is such a dead ideology, though. Hitler giving Ash the Biden sip. It's Mocha. We knew that. One of these mustache guys is Lassalle. I have face blindness. One of them is Lassalle, though. He had a mustache. Oh, he's 2 S's. Yeah, this guy. Mustache guy. That's this mustache guy. Yeah. I bet the other one, if I had to guess. Kautsky. No, Kautsky's Whitebeard. This is not Whitebeard. Who's this guy? Guys, my face blindness. Is he Bordiga? Screen share. Hold on. Ours is going to be Mussolini, Kamala Biden, Spontex. And then a bunch of babies, like a bunch of children. God, it's so deeply unserious though, because it's like, if you guys ever left your fucking houses, we would actually organize with you. But you have to remember, guys, a lot of these are children. The fact that Spontex is an adult makes him a fucking weirdo to me. Like, I cannot abide that. But like, children being left comms, like, it is canon. It is written. They are supposed to be left comms. They'll get there. A lot of these people will come around and they will be Marxist-Leninists by the time they reach like 24. You know? The reason why Spontex is weird to me is that that's an adult man. He should know better. And also, he's doing the content thing that people are always fucking weirdos when they do this. I mean, look, that was who shall not be named, the teenager that I tried to defend on the internet. That was his whole content, and I actually made an exception for him because my general rule is that people who use other people in their content like that are fucking weirdos, and I don't like it. And I'm like, never trust those people, never vibe with those people. There's something fucking off about them. And I made an exception for him because he was a young teenager. So I was like, oh, he's a kid. He doesn't know. This guy's an adult man doing that shit. And I'm like, there's something fucking weird about you, man. Very weird. A left comm is somebody who thinks they're a communist but does not support like Lenin usually. They don't support the USSR. They basically do not support any actually existing socialism in the world. And we don't have minors in the Discord. I think that I don't know. What's this one, Lilith? Yeah, they buy into the authoritarian thing. Oh my god, this is wild.
Genuinely, what does that mean? I'm so confused by that. What is Maragaza? What the fuck is that? What the fuck? Also, her the bio on her page says pronouns sinner, and she's a Christian. I'm never one that's going to hate on someone choosing to wear what they want to wear, right? But Christianity is all about modesty, right? You got your titty nipples all
out. Big Gotco says left comms are spontaneous, cracker-coated saviorism believers. Cracker-coated saviorism believers. Oh, it's so funny. Ebony Warrior Studios, yeah. This guy. Wow, I love this. I love what we've developed here today, everybody. It's been a beautiful day of us understanding left comms. And truly, as Lennon said, Lennon knew, and this is what I love about, you have these experiences on the internet. You're like, what the fuck are these people talking about? Why the fuck are these people coming out of the woodwork just being bizarre fucking wreckers? Who told them any of this shit made sense? What are they doing? Why are they making memes like this? This doesn't even fucking make sense. These people are dumb. And then you're like, God, if there was some way I could understand what's happening, and then you go back in time. Oh, it's the same thing. And then you realize, oh, they were dealing with this 100 years ago too. They were already dealing with this. They dealt with this. Lenin knew. He wrote a whole fucking book about it called Left-Wing Communism and Infantile Disorder. He knew. He was correct. 100 years ago, he knew. He knew. Okay, let's get into map. Okay, we're doing map, all right? Just remember. Lennon said it for a reason. That's all I'm saying. Okay, we're getting into the map, everybody. I'm sorry. I'm on a sick one. I got added to a teenage group chat, and now my whole day, I just see alerts about left-wing communism. Left comm alerts. It's hell. I'm sorry. But I feel like I can't leave, because you know how teenagers are. That's like admitting defeat. I'm stronger than them. You add me to your left comm teenage group chat as a joke? Oh, I'll make you rue the day. I'll make you regret it. You know, this is how I go. All right. Should we talk about Tanzania? What do you guys think? Tanzania? Let's talk about Tanzania today. Mapping and yapping for the final few. Let's get into this. Let's do Tanzania. So we're going to pull up our reference points here. We've been looking. Tanzania is not part of the 19 countries designated as, basically allies of NATO, but who aren't actually members. So that's important to note. So we also have the 2025 NED report on spending, which can be useful. I mean, we pretty successfully predicted yesterday everything going on in Kenya based on the map. So, or based on this data. So I think we can do it again. So, in Tanzania and Cameroon, protesters faced attacks as they challenged fraudulent elections, according to the National Endowment for Democracy. So that's going to be major. Special I should leave the teenage group chat. Yeah, I just started telling them they tag me in things, and now I just tell them to clean their rooms. That's all I do. I go, clean your room, read this, and that's all I say. And then I'm like, you're using the R slur too much, knock that off. I literally act like an annoying parent to them. So, in Serbia and Georgia, courageous youth, independent media, and determined civic watchdogs continue to defend democratic processes. All right. So basically they say, in Tanzania and Cameroon, protesters are getting attacked because the elections are fraudulent. So they're trying to do a color revolution in Tanzania, is what this means. Repressive regimes, fearful of their own people, imprison some of the most prominent advocates for democracy, illustrated by such cases as Tundu Lissu in Tanzania. So Ned is probably paying Tundu Lissu in Tanzania to try to overthrow the government. So right now, Ned is actively investing money, I'm guessing, in trying to, overthrow the government of Tanzania. So let's see what's next here. Where is this next area? Okay, but where are you here? I don't see you. We'll go here. All right. Looking for more. Apparently there's supposed to be something on this page, but it's not getting highlighted. Here we go. Our work in countries facing sharp crackdowns such as Tanzania and Nicaragua remains vital as authoritarian consolidation deepens and civic actors search for pathways to defend their rights. So for those of you who don't know, the National Endowment for Democracy, the report we're looking at from last year, that is a CIA-funded NGO, or started NGO, that's funded entirely by U.S. Congress, and their goal is they spend money trying to basically do color revolutions and control narratives in other countries to benefit a pro-Western agenda. So what we're looking at is their 2025 year-end report. Whenever they talk about wanting to secure democracy or help with elections, what they're really talking about is wanting to fund and support color revolutions and steal countries out from their leaders to make them basically U.S. puppet states. So they seem to be talking in 2025 at the year-end a lot about what's going on in Tanzania, which tells us they have a goal of stealing Tanzania away from the current leadership and turning it into a U.S. puppet-backed kind of government system. So they say, authoritarian regimes are racing to fuse power technology from China's AI-driven surveillance exports and censorship algorithms to Russia's cyber attacks and digital intimidation to election period internet shutdowns in Tanzania, Uganda, and Pakistan. So this is exactly what's going on here. All right. Authoritarian. Everything's authoritarian, yeah. Exactly. This kind of shit. Backsliding mass protests in Tanzania. Okay. So in Tanzania, they're currently spending between $1 and $2 million on projects. That's pretty significant. Only more significant in the DRC. This actually is good. You know what? I talked a little shit about it. I think it was Malrish who was like, I've been looking at this. And I was like, yeah, but it's like, you don't know if they're spending more or less, blah, 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 blah. But you know what? I think you can get this is a very thorough report. So Malrish, I correct myself. You were correct to bring this to us. Very, 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 very useful. You're right. I'm authoritarian. I'm the authority. I feel like I was like a 2% hater to you about this, Malrish, and I should not have been. You were right. I was wrong. So we're spending over $1 million in Tanzania currently. Maybe it was Lord Oxium. Was it? Maybe it was. Okay. Let's look for the whole section. Here's the section on Tanzania. What are they spending money on? Strengthening accountability through the media. This means we're buying up media there and we're using it to push out pro-Western propaganda. That's what's going on there. We also were spending money on women's political leadership through media. This means doing the lib identity politics technique of being like, Tanzania hates women, so we must take them over. Electoral accountability. This means all of their elections that don't favor our candidates are fraudulent. They're big, big liars. They've stolen elections. Only electoral results that benefit us are real. Advancing a new draft of the Constitution. This means that they must put free market capitalism in their Constitution or we will bomb them. Supporting independent journalism. This means we are literally paying to create fake stories about how everything they do that doesn't support free market policies is corruption. And advancing human rights and democratic practices. This means that they hate gay people and the only thing that will fix that is a free market, right? So this is what's going on. This makes total sense. Now on the hyper-imperialism chart, let's take a look at Tanzania. And I'm going to come up with my guess based on all this for what I think is going on here. British colony. Yes, military intervention has occurred there. They voted yes on the Gaza ceasefire and they did not vote on a Russia withdrawal. So, I'm willing to bet that they are defiant and we are currently trying to steal them. This is my guess, that they probably are working with Russia and with China and the US is furious about it. So let's look at Tanzania and Russia in the news. Oh yeah, that's from February 9th. Wow, okay. So, Russia and Tanzania are deepening strategic ties and high-level Moscow talks, strengthening relations between the two countries, and this is from February of this year. Kombo, who is the foreign minister from Tanzania, thanked the Russian leadership for what he described as efforts to elevate relations between the two nations. He said the importance of strategic cooperation with Russia is highlighted by the president in a recent address to diplomats. Russia and Tanzania have steadily expanded cooperation in recent years, particularly in defense, trade, and energy, as Moscow increases its diplomatic and economic footprint across Africa. Lavrov welcomed the growing partnership. All right. So, then we have this story from February of 2026. They discuss trade and investment as bilateral trade increases 20% in 2025. So in 2025, they increased their trade with each other 20%. And this is why the United States is pissed, and we're trying to overthrow the country of that. Tanzania is one of Russia's important trading partners among African countries. One of Russia's most important, yeah. It's the first 11 months of 2025. The mutual trade turnover between the two countries increased by almost 20% due to increased supplies of fertilizers to Tanzania as well as purchases of coffee. And Tanzania is interested in establishing gas exports. Large Russian companies are ready for any kind of cooperation. We are talking about joint projects in the field of production and export of hydrocarbons and natural gas and the joint construction of a coal-fired thermal power plant. Now, natural gas was one of the main things that the United States, for reference, wanted in Ukraine. So, we want to do a color revolution there. We want to steal them from the influence of Russia, just like in Ukraine. Yeah, we're on map time. The Russian naval training vessel Smolny, also, this is from August of last year, docked in Tanzania's port city, making a significant moment in the deepening relationship between Moscow and Dodoma. Welcomed by senior Tanzanian officials and Russia's ambassador. In June of 2024, both countries began efforts to conduct bilateral trade in national currencies, bypassing the US dollar. Ding, 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 ding. Found it. Found it. In June of 2024, Russia and Tanzania started conducting bilateral trade in a way that bypassed the US dollar, including for natural gas exports coming up, I'm sure. And the US is really, really mad about it. Plans are also underway for a direct flight route between Moscow and Dar es Salaam. They also recently broke ground on a $1.2 billion uranium processing plant in Namtumbo, highlighting growing energy cooperation. Everything's energy. The world runs on energy. All right, I think this is pretty clear cut, chat. Big Yahoo got timed out? You guys have your own color revolution going on in the chat. All right, everybody. I'm marking Tanzania as defiant as hell. They are currently working with Russia, but let's keep learning what we can about Tanzania. Let's see what they got going on with China. News. Oh, Chinese ambassador to Tanzania, according to China, attended opening ceremony of Experience China High Tech Fair. Okay. Oh, China. Tanzania eyes exports, industrial growth from China's zero tariff policy. This is interesting as well. The Minister of Industry and Trade from Tanzania, Judith Kapinga, said this opportunity is vital for local entrepreneurs. We are deeply grateful to China for opening these doors to trade. So they're literally just doing business without the United States, and we're pissed. Bilateral trade between China and Tanzania reached $11.28 billion in 2025, a 27% increase on year to year. While the first quarter of 2026, trade rose by 28% to $2.9 billion. Wow. That's what's up. All right. Tanzania firmly in the pink camp. You can really understand why it's been so important for the United States to get a strong footing here. Now, look, I kind of want to revisit Cameroon based on what I've read from this, because we saw they were doing the same thing with Cameroon here. Did we already just win? Are they already cuck maxed? Is it already like... No. Yeah, they already won. That already happened. That damage already was done, I guess, in Cameroon. I guess we were correct to say they're cuck maxed. Yeah. Okay. That's not worth revisiting. Yes. Yep. Defiant. They're defiant. The map is growing, chat. The map is filling in. Africa is not very regional, right? We kind of have some region here, this little area. But you really see everybody's just clamoring to kind of build camp. They're building camp. They're setting up camp. The world is aligning. All right, I guess tomorrow we'll probably do Angola or Mozambique. These are interesting, though. And then we're almost done. We're going to be done by the end of May, I think. So, very, very interesting, everybody. Okay, what did we learn today? What did we learn today, chat? What did we learn? Africa's growing since it's the youngest continent. Why is Poland listed as derogatory? Because we know Poland is evil, but we can't decide how much agency they have over their evil doing. They're not quite evil empire because they're not a G7 country, but to call them cucks doesn't quite fit because Poland does what Poland wants. And Poland wants to be evil. So they're not defiant. They're not resisting. Poland is like, we're evil in our own unique, new way. Right? Poland is interesting. Yes, so what we learned today is that the left comms want to bomb Ohio. No, we learned a lot, I think. I think we learned that there's some guy on Spontax, or on TikTok who's like Pied Pipering all of the children into infantile disorder territory, which is very, very disturbing because that means we're going to have to learn how to talk to these people a lot more. More of them are going to pop up, and they are very, very, very annoying to deal with. Wait, you literally had a CIA black site? Wait, where do you live, Kabashi? In Poland? Do you live in Poland? How do I not know where Kabashi lives? Poland is like Germany if Germany and France had a baby. Okay, so we're gonna have to learn how to talk to the left comms more. A lot of them are children. So just remember that when you talk to them. It's a very appealing ideology for teenagers, the same way anarchism is. Okay, in the cursed state. Okay, yeah. You had a CIA black site. Yeah, that makes sense. We learned about anarcho-Langleyism. Yes, I loved that. I am a reluctant parent to a group of left-com teenagers in a TikTok chat. We learned that they don't actually know what the critique of the Gothic program is, but they're going to say it at you a lot, and they will just start yelling LaSalle. I taught you guys who didn't know about LaSalle a little bit about LaSalle. He was really into worker collectives. He was not a Marxist-Leninist. Anarcho-Langleyism is the best term. Who coined this term again? Who came up with the anarcho-Langleyism? Because we just need to do a special... Yeah, I'm being held hostage by left-com teenagers in a group chat. Yeah. We need to do a special shout-out to the anarcho-Langleyism. You're Lassallian if you ban me again. Lassalle or Kautsky. Don't forget Kautsky. Yes. I think it was Ghost in this Hell. Anarcho-Langleyism. You guys are so smart. I love you so much. Amazing. ChatGPT left comms. Oh, it was Ghost in this Hell. Yes. Good one. You get like, I wish I could give people awards for things. Anarcho-Langleyism award to you. The left com. This is what the left comms do to me. I'm just like, who told you what? This fucking weird man? And I think Spontex is weirdo. I think that guy's a fucking weirdo. I think that guy's weird. Why are you an adult? Because why are you an adult saying this? Because why are you an adult? Because we understand how left comms happen. It happens when you don't want to be an anarchist anymore because you realize that's silly. And you want to be a communist, but you haven't unpacked the propaganda you've been taught about communism. So why are you an adult and you still think this? I don't trust that. Thank you, Cormac Logan. It's because he's British. We're going to have him battle Carr. Carr's going to have to fight Spontex. That's what's going to happen. We have our own. We have Brits. We have British. Yeah, Langleyism refers to CIA headquarters. Yeah. Yeah. Agnostically anarchist. Exactly. I'm just going to start referring to them as anarchists, though. They don't like that. Yes. We learned a lot today, and we learned that Tanzania's building. They're making moves in silence. They're building. They're hashtag building. They're in their building era. Carr is their strongest British soldier. Yeah. Oh, yes, glitching. Okay, I'll free you all. It's 12 o'clock noon for me. I will send you all with my bad internet over to Larry now. Turf Island is also England, a.k.a. Trot Island, a.k.a. the land of Spontex. It all makes sense that he's British, really. It all makes sense. Okay, I'm sending you to Larry. I gotta start my day. Nobody ban Big Yahoo. Get ready, guys. And goodbye. I love you. Have a good Larry time.